The Korean business tycoon, Shin Hwa thought of establishing a high-standard school for the elite, the chosen ones. Shin Hwa Academy is the upfront line of the Korean aristocratic upper class. Despite that, it has an ugly hidden side. Its bullies. Min Ha is one of the victims. He opens his locker to find the death red card signed by the F4. On the contrary, Jun-pyo is having a peaceful ride to deliver a dry cleaning order to the same boy, Min Ha. She reaches the address, but she doesn't feel that it's a normal school. It's more of a luxury place. The chefs, delectable dishes, outstanding serving. She finds a group of students. When she looks up, she sees a boy who's up to take his life. But wait, doesn't he want his clean clothes? The silly girl thinks. Jan-di hurries to the rooftop. It's the first time she hears of the F4. She saves his life, and her courageous act goes viral on social media. The commoner hero and Wonder Girl. She thinks that the famous F4 name must mean Fly 4 instead of Flower 4. But the chairman of the school, Madam Hee-soo, doesn't seem pleased with the news that chews the school's reputation, especially her son, Jun-pyo's image in the public's eyes. Her evil plan is to grant the Korean Wonder Woman Shin Hwa scholarship to let her pay back the debt. Jan-di refuses the offer. Eventually, she's convinced to go to the school. She rides the delivery van, and once her father slams its door, the recorded voice inside it announces the service. Meanwhile, the helicopter lands, and the leader of the F4, Jun-pyo, steps toward the school. Jan-do finds her way through the students. She is fond of swimming and wants to check the pool. She walks until she finds a boy who is playing guitar. And when she asks him, he guides her to the swimming pool. She doesn't know that the boy is one of the F4, 4 rich boys that every girl in the school is crazy about. They establish their power through terrorizing the students. Jan-di doesn't like that at all. Her first day hasn't gone any worse when 3 girls introduce themselves to her as Chinger, Sunny, and Miranda, or the Jin Sun Mai of the school. In easy words, the Korean gossip girls. Jan-di's first homework is to find out more about the F4. Song Woo-bin, the heir of the real estate tycoons and the owner of the blue-chip stock of the construction. So Yi-jung is a ceramic artist. Selected by UNESCO, he proved that he's not one of the rich, empty brains. The third is Yoon Ji-hoo, the grandson of President Yoon Suk-young. The fourth is Gu Jun-pyo, the leader of F4 and successor of the Shin Hwa group. The cold class war blows venom in Jan-di's artery. She screams, spewing out the hatred, knowing not that Ji-hoo is here. She wants to maintain a low-key profile until she graduates. At home, her dad prepares her school jacket, and her mom takes care of her beauty. At the school, the usual morning welcoming cheers from the girls for the famous boys of the F4. This time, Jan-di doesn't suppress the feeling that arises from the injustice. She stops on their way calling Jun-pyo a bastard. No, that's what's in her mind. If only thoughts can kill. She's in the swimming pool when Oh Min-ji, her schoolmate, comes and invites her to eat ice cream. Unintentionally, Min-ji throws her ice cream on Jun-pyo's shiny shoe. He doesn't expect anything less than licking the cream off his shoe. Jan-di interferes to defend her friend, but he looks down on her, calling her Wonderbra. He says, "Lick it." A flash of anger goes through her eyes. She pretends to bend, but swiftly, she rubs her ice cream on his face and throws money at him, then sticks the dry cleaning number on his forehead. The show gets the entourage's admiration, but the F4 leader is feeling resentment with each passing second. Yi-jung, the artist, suggests punishing the girl with the red card. Jan-di is targeted by the school. She opens her locker and finds the card. She doesn't know what she's about to face, but whatever is it, she'll face it. At the class, the 3 troublemaker girls challenge her to find her desk. She finds it outside with scribbles and insults written on it. The bullying intensifies with ruining her uniform and then recording the insult on videos and pictures. F4 boys enjoy watching through the camera and put numbers and prizes on how long she'll stay at the school. Jun-pyo won't stop until she apologizes, but she doesn't appear as he expected. She's at the rooftop, her haven once her chest is loaded. As usual, she talks to the air. Jae-hoo hears her and cleans her face. Perhaps he finds something special in her. When she goes to the class, she finds a plush sheep toy from her friend, Minji. Its recording shows her apology as acting cowardly. The next day, she goes to the swimming pool to find it full of dirt. She cleans it, and when she heads to the changing room, some notorious boys attack her. Jae-hoo saves her from whatever bad is coming to her. On another end, Jun-pyo scolds the boys for not following exactly what he wanted from them. He didn't want them to attempt the assault, but only to scare her. Time passes, and Jan-dae goes bicycle riding. She spots Jae-hoo in front of a poster of a pretty ad face, Min Seo-hyun. She's her idol. As well, she wishes for her to marry from the royal family like Diana or Audrey Hepburn. Jae-hoo gets a bit tense, then leaves her to her guesses. But when she's having a family dinner, her little brother gives the news that a junior G girl from Shin Hwa Academy is pregnant. The next day, Jan-dae finds out that her reputation, wrongfully, has been stained as G, the pregnant junior girl. She gets furious and finds her rival, Jun-pyo, in his usual place. She throws a dirty cloth at his face and hits him with a flying kick. How dare he start such a rumor that she's pregnant when she has never even kissed a guy? The Four Flowers star has been turning down since they encountered the brave Jan-dae. But the perverts find it more exciting when the victim resists their attempts to diminish her strong will. But why does Jun-pyo think that she's into him, although she says that she's not interested in him and that she's never been kissed by a guy? Jan-dae is stooping on the school steps when some serious men take her by force to a black car. Best kidnap ever. She opens up her eyes where there are massage therapists. She's undergone an impressive transformation. The butler ushers her to his young master. She steps down the stairs to find him. Jun-pyo. Has he lost his mind? Jan-dae ponders. He's saying something about meeting him away from the public. Why's that? Here it comes. He claims that she loves him. What? He turns her to face her new look in the floor mirror. He brings her back to reality when he evaluates the makeover cost, which is 100 grand. Jun-pyo becomes furious. Who on earth rejects him? Why does this commoner, the rough Mr. Dry Cleaner, keep pushing him to the sharp edges of his nerves? But what Jan-dae doesn't fathom is how everything around her looks like from a presidential estate. The jacuzzi and the spacious courtyard. She throws the expensive shoes when Jae-hoo finds her and borrows her his sneakers. But where can she find him to return them to him? Instead of Jae-hoo, she finds the rest of the squad. They chat. She learns a bit about Jae-hoo's first love, Seo-hyun, her idol. That affects her badly, because the next day on the playground, she gets a hard hit right in her face. Jun-pyo tries his best to break through the walls around her, but he doesn't succeed. The day comes when the school announces a cruise trip. Although Jun-pyo usually takes his private jet for such trips, he gets with the rest of the boys this time. Probably because Jan-dae will be on the same trip, in the Wonder Woman outfit. The three troublemakers laugh at her, but the beautiful Seo-hyun stops them and takes the naive girl to her chamber. She garnishes the girl with her feminine touches. They come back to the party hall. Everyone turns their necks to Jan-dae. Jae-hoo takes her hand, while Jun-pyo empties the wine glass, at once, inside his mouth. He's unable to stop his growing admiration for his rival, Jan-dae. Her face radiates from the joy, but Jae-hoo wishes she could put her feet off his shoes. Outside the hall, Jun-pyo kicks the chairs. He loses balance and falls in the pool. When Wonder Woman rescues him, riding the roller coaster of intense emotions, Jan-dae's struggle continues against the opposite poles, Jae-hoo and Jun-pyo. One who's ignoring her attempts, and the other who keeps pushing her hard toward more hatred from her side. She gets a birthday party invitation from Seo-hyun and a chic dress. At the party, she peeks through the room and finds that Hyen and Ji-hoo are sharing a kiss. She steps back to find the other pole, Jun-pyo. They go to the bar, and there she gets drunk and vents out her miserable life. Then she throws up on his suit. The next day, she wakes up in Jun-pyo's room, and once he knows that his mother has arrived, he calls the squad to help him with the girl in his room. Madam Hee-soo hosts the benefit auction for refugees in her house, and when she enters her son's room, she finds the F4 with the girl who looks like the new accomplice, Jan-dae. She's introduced as the daughter of a businessman who belongs to the upper class. The auction commences with excitement. Jan-dae performs her first catwalk in a yellow dress. Despite the many times she is about to fall over her high heels, the mother finds her interesting and asks her assistant to do a background check on her. At her home, she puts on the goggles that Jun-pyo has given to her as a gift. But she can't take the sad look on Ji-hoo's face. She speaks with Seo Hyun about him and how much he wants her. Ji-hoo overhears everything. Once they meet outside, he scolds Jan-dae for interfering in his personal affairs. At school, the students bully her and burn down her bicycle. Jun-pyo punches everyone and saves her. He takes her home and looks after her. He orders her a new uniform and bicycle, and at the school, he announces in front of everyone that she's his girlfriend, which means that she's under his protection. All this comes as surprising news to Jan-dae. She can't defend herself, and the F4 fans fall on the ground once they know that their idol is taken. But Jun-pyo doesn't bother. His gifts come in loads to her house. She can't take it anymore. She confronts him to stop thinking about her as a gold digger. She says that money doesn't please her. The next day, the schoolgirls create a fan frenzy and run after Jan-dae. She reaches her usual spot at the top, but this time, she doesn't scream. And Ji-hoo objects to Jun-pyo's decision to take her as a girlfriend. And the Wonder Woman is lurking in limbo. Once she steps ahead, she finds herself retreating backward. She's torn in the current that's created out of the two poles, Ji-hoo and Jun-pyo. But Jun-pyo is accustomed to getting what he wants, and right now he wants this stubborn girl in his life. The F4 literally kidnaps her and her friend, Ga-eul, to a secluded paradise in Metro Island in New Caledonia, which is owned by Jun-pyo's family. There, she thanks him. But Jun-pyo doesn't want her to be this sentimental. He takes off his clothes to swim. To avenge her pride, Jan-dae tells him that a snake is around his leg. He takes the speed and goes far. But once she gets stuck in the waters, he can't help her. Because he can't swim, however, Ji-hoo rescues her. Back in time when Jun-pyo was 8 years old when his bodyguard kidnapped him. In an attempt to escape the police, the car slips into the water with Jun-pyo inside. That's why he can't swim. Lately, Jan-dae is in the ebb and flow of her love life. Jun-pyo gives her an anklet and tells her that she better not lose it. But in the morning, he notices that Ji-hoo is wearing it on his wrist. And when he asks about it, Ji-hoo replies that Jan-dae dropped it the other night. He takes her on a scenic helicopter tour, where he tells her about his heart. And when he tries kissing her, she avoids him. He understands that she's not ready yet, but he doesn't want to wait for her for too long. She hurries out to meet Ji-hoo, who confesses his love to her and kisses her. At the same time, Jun-pyo sees them together. He slaps him in the face and tells Jan-dae that it's over between them both. She goes back home and recalls how many times Jun-pyo showed her that he wants her. On the rooftop, she sits next to Ji-hoo. There, she realizes that she misses Jun-pyo. During lunchtime, Jun-pyo announces that Ji-hoo is no longer a member of the F4 and that he'll be expelled from the school alongside Jan-dae. She wants to see him and apologizes, but he doesn't give her a chance. A woman stops her car, and Jan-dae hits in. They chase him and force him to stop his car. The woman turns out to be his sister, Gu Jong-hee, who teaches him how to be a real gentleman and becomes supportive of Jan-dae's war of gaining him back. She grabs him by the ear and decides that the three involved in the dispute are going to enter the sports activities challenge for the winner to be decided. The first sport is horse racing. The competition takes a fierce start, in which the odds go for Jae-hoo's winning, but Jun-pyo chooses the hard shortcut and turns the odds in his favor. The second game is car racing, in which the odds scale down for Jun-pyo's winning. Despite his childhood complex of fearing car driving, Jae-hoo wins the second game. The third game is swimming, and since Jun-pyo doesn't know how to swim, Yi-jung takes his place to compete. Jun-pyo begs Jan-di to leave the silly competition and just come back to him, but she doesn't agree. Hence, the third game starts, and Jae-hoo's team wins. Things escalate between Jun-pyo and Jan-di, especially when she realizes her true feelings aren't for Jae-hoo when he asks her out on a date. Her thoughts go for Jun-pyo. And when she wears a different pair of shoes after hearing that Jun-pyo, is in the hospital. Both were stubbornly refusing each other that they needed out-of-the-box ideas to get going on a date. Valentine's Day comes, and she bakes cookies for him with chocolate. But the bad news comes when Madam Hee-soo learns about her son's relationship. She recalls how she wanted her in Shin Hwa Academy. Hence, she visits her in her home, and she learns how far her son is involved with her, especially when she learns that he slept with her family. Madam Hee-soo offers them $300,000 in exchange for signing a contract to stay away from her son. She gets a counteroffer of a nice bowl of salt on top of her head. Jan-di's mother argues that they don't need $300,000. They have to shoot bigger by marrying her daughter to the heir of the Shinhwa's name and fortune. When things grow smoothly between Jae-hoo and Jan-di, they get intense and rough between her and Jun-pyo. Despite his mother's attempts to ruin Jan-di's image in his eyes, he gets closer to her. He kisses her in public. But Ms. Laundry has lost her business. Now, to prove his love despite the odds, Jun-pyo has to stick by her side and get ready for any of his mother's attacks on the poor girl. Jan-di works hard until her body shows that she's exceeding the bearable limits, and Jae-hoo notices that, but she's forced to contribute to providing for her family. A freshman boy introduces himself as Lee Jae and promises to help her in a part-time job. Once she goes with him to his workplace, she realizes that he's Hage, the famous model. She gets the chance to start modeling with him. And when he helps her with her delivery work, Jae-hoo finds them both lacking together. The news of her modeling pictures goes viral in the school. When Jun-pyo knows, he gets mad. He finds Hage with her. The repulsive encounter becomes a turning point in her friendship with the F4, as she gets that red card once again in her locker. Lee Jae promises that he'll protect her, and he does that when someone throws a potted plant from above on her. He saved her life. The second attempt comes when she goes to the science lab. Someone throws a gas canister inside the lab and locks the door. She faints away, and Lee Jae takes her to his house. In his bed, he talks to someone on the phone about his part of the deal, as the chairman wanted. Now, 2 of Shin Hwa Academy students are missing, Jan-di and Jun-pyo, and the search for them is in full swing by the F4. What worsens the situation is that Lee Jae kidnaps her and sends a message to Jun-pyo to come alone to rescue her. But who is Lee Jae? He is the brother of the first scene's bully victim, and he wants to take revenge on the F4. Once Jun-pyo arrives, Lee Jae's men beat him severely. And when Lee Jae is up to throw a chair on his Jun-pyo, Jan-di comes in front of him. At this moment, the F4 reach the place and wrap up the scene as their victory. Jan-di opens her eyes to see Jun-pyo in front of her. The two in love start calling each other pretty names such as low IQ, dork, stupid, and fool. When she goes home, she finds her mother and brother in a miserable state. The loan shark kidnaps her father. Her mother goes to Madam Hee-soo to tell her that she'll accept her offer of $300,000 for parting their kids away from each other. The vicious chairman reconsiders her visit in her account once Jan-di's mother pours a bowl of salt on her head, a gesture of her apology for leaving her husband alive. Jandai sacrifices her love for Jun-pyo for the invaluable love for her father. She says that he's more important to her than anything else. However, her heart aches over Jun-pyo. What will happen between the couple? Will Jun-pyo give up on the commoner girl who broke his arrogance and made him fall madly in love with her? What about Madame Hee-soo's plots against her son's will? All this will be discovered in the next recap. The Korean series shows the conflict between the classes in society. It is a romance and comedy that's directed by Jae Sang-jun and written by Yoko Kamyo and Ju Ryeon-yoon. It stars Koo Hae-sun as Jandai, Lee Mi-ho as Jun-pyo, Kim Hyun-jong as Ji-hoo, Kim Bum as Yi-jung, Kim Jun as Woo-bin, Lee Hae-young as Hee-soo. Dear viewer, please share your views with us in the comments section, and don't forget to press the bell icon to watch our latest videos.